What is happening, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. It's match reaction time. And what started out as a day where a point puts us in the driving seat, puts it back in our hands in terms of the promotion race, has turned into a little bit of a nightmare when it comes to the end of the day. As I'm looking at my phone now, Leicester have taken a late lead. That means we are firmly in third, and it is completely out of our hands at this point in time. Listen, we'll talk about this and everything else in between. But before I do, please hit a like on the video. It really does help out the channel in the best way. It's free to do. Just click the thumbs up. Please do that. Helps out the channel. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, leave your comments below. And super thanks. And speaking of super thanks, thank you to Mr. P and someone called CR81. See, that CR is being used for Connor Roberts and multiple other people. So there you go. Thank you for the super thanks donations on the last video. Much appreciated, guys. Gavin's going in hard and heavy here. Butlers. Michael. Yeah, I hear it. Yeah. Chris is saying disgusting. We have not got what it takes at the end of the last 3 games. We were terrible. Yep. Sorry, being poor for weeks. Yeah. Clem here saying too many negative comments. First loss this year, still loads to play for. Well, I mean, Clem, if you're not disappointed with the result today, then I'm not sure what you're actually after. Are you looking for promotion, or are you one of those that just support Leeds for vibes? If you're one of those, then cool. But you've got to be disappointed with today. But like the previous comment said, this has been coming, especially since the international break. Since the international break has been over, I felt that we shouldn't have picked up anything against Watford. But funnily enough, today I thought we actually deserved at least a point. But the performances, they were going to catch up to us eventually, people, and it did today. Coventry, it's funny. If I go back to my match preview, a lot of what I was saying in there kind of came to fruition today. In terms of Coventry, if we perform like we did against Watford, against Coventry will beat us. And even though Coventry weren't as good on the eye as Watford were, they were more clinical today, and that showed. They got their 2 goals and they were cool. Ruben, shout out to you, Ruben. I know you've I know you're on this train. I know everyone to see Bamford again ever. Yeah. Sean here saying ridiculous game today. Seemed more like Marsh ball than Farke'S ball. Hold on a minute, people. Here we go. As you can hear, I am a bit better. Obviously, it's just we're coming to the last little bits of this sickness. It is almost over, though, people. I did go back to the doctors yesterday. Shout out to people that actually check up on me for that as well. Yeah, feeling much better now. Feeling much better. Ian saying sick of talking about Bamford. Don't even mention him, please. Sorry, this is a match reaction, and he was a big part of it today. Listen, if he scores today, Ian and everyone else, you get his fanboys in the chat here, singing, what he's saying about Bamford. Now, funny enough, I was saying that in the preview, and I haven't seen that guy here. Maybe he left after I threatened to call social services on him because of the way that he was caping for Bamford. But I don't see them. When Bamford was on that little good run of form that he had, and he was good for a few weeks, they were all back. All the Bamford truthers were back. Don't hear a peep from them in the last few games. It's funny, isn't it? But those are more like Player FC fans than they are Leeds United fans. But it is what it is. Gavin here, Joseph has to start on Tuesday. Well, we'll speak about that. We'll speak about that. I've also seen as well the new one as well. Farke kind of alluded to it in the press conference, but the new one is now with Bamford that he's tiring out opposition players in order for a fresh Joseph to come on and do his thing when he comes on. Unbelievable. It's amazing. The bail that he gets shot is amazing. Lee Gold up here saying we bottled it today. Our strikers are awful in front of goal, even Peru at the end. Yeah, it's a bad one. Just tapping it to the keeper. Yeah, Peru. I got a praise from him one instance, but then that one at the end, yeah, even he knew, his head was in his hands. He knew that was the time to equalize. And it's amazing, man, an equalizer, and we are in the driving seat when it comes to the top 2. Simple point. and we would be in the driving seat from now on. Doesn't matter what Ipswich did. Doesn't matter. Leicester can win their game in hand cool, but the top two would have been in our hands with just a point today, and we couldn't do it. And I think the most relieved people today will be Ipswich Town. They would have watched that today after losing at Norwich and thinking, "Oh man, we've got away with one now. We can go again." And that was the thing today. If we had won today, that would have drove the nail into Ipswich even more. It's psychological at this point. Imagine they lose that game, we win at Coventry away. Ipswich then are thinking, "Damn, we've blown it," but we just couldn't. We couldn't do it today. Ruben here with a super chat. Thank you for the super chats, guys, as well. Always appreciate all the support. Is much appreciated, guys. Today was one of the first matches where the lads looked like they were not too sure what the game plan was. They were off it since the off. Yeah, even when we were 1-0 down, I don't know what anyone else thinks, but when we were 1-0 down, they were passing it around like we were 2-0 up. It was really weird, really, really strange how we approached the game. But I've said it in previous match reactions since we've come back from the break. It was another tough watch. It was another game where we haven't looked like we were in the first, first 2.5 months of this calendar year, where we just looked like we were always going to get something out of the game. But it's been real tough sledding. And again, I said it in the preview, but I'll say it on here. Kamara, he was rightfully hooked up at halftime. But everybody, from players I speak to, they will tell you everybody is playing with ailments from game 15 onwards. Everyone is playing with some kind of minor niggle, knock, whatever it may be. So when you're hearing that Kamara's got a flu, someone's got a knock here, every team is dealing with that. Leicester are dealing with it. Ipswich are dealing with it. Everybody is people. So that's no excuses for me. Yeah, you agree? Yeah, okay, yeah, I agree. KG, we had no urgency or tempo to our play. It's amazing. It's amazing. 14-14 Yorks is one of these. What about the excuse that we're missing Gruev and letting in goals? Can't blame Bamford for everything. No, he's not to blame for everything, but as with everything, there's a ripple effect, isn't there? 14-14 Yorks. If he gets, I mean, what else can you do for this guy? Okay, the first one, he takes about 6 touches before he takes a shot. He doesn't score. Okay. If you want to let him off for that one, okay. But what else can you do? 14-14 Yorks and all you other people like you, where you've got a guy, Firpo has put it on a plate for him in the 6-yard box. Can't miss. You cannot miss that. Any other striker is scoring that goal. He misses that, it's 1-1. It's then a different game. Once again, you change the game. It's not going to be 2-0 to Coventry at that point. It could be from another dimension of play, but everything gets reset. It's 1-1. The lads get a boost in momentum, which is a big thing in sports. You can't blame him for everything because the defending was crap today as well. We will say that. But if you're big money striker, the striker that the manager has publicly backed once again, another manager, I should say, has publicly backed once again for another game in a row where he's done nothing for the 66 minutes he was on, he's got every right to be scrutinized. Simple as that. We're not talking about missing chances at a Premier League level here. This is against 3 teams in the Championship. But you always have people that will defend him. He's got unlimited credit at this football club when it comes to some fans. It's actually insane to me. I do worry about people at times. I do, honestly. Chronicles saying this result has been coming. It has. Let's just get into this because it's such a disappointing day, people. It could have been even a point. I would have loved the 3 points today, of course, but a point just to get it back in your hands and then have that home game against Sunderland on Tuesday. Just think about how confident the boost it will give the team. We're lying in third right now. But the team, Meslier today with the first goal, flapping around, vintage Meslier for me. It was poor defensive play all around, but Ellis Sims, I did mention him in the match preview, 13th goal of the season, doing what he's supposed to do. And that's a number 9, that's tucking in goals. Right place, right time. The whole defensive unit today, and I include Joe Rodman who's been exceptional for me, and of course Ampadu. That second goal is embarrassing. It's embarrassing that the defense were just standing around. No one was tracking the runner. It was just poor all around. You can't leave Meslier exposed like that. You just can't. You can't leave an average goalkeeper with just so exposed. He's not going to do nothing for you. So just all around 2 poor goals to concede. You know, it was ugly today. Very, very ugly. Um, Kamara, shocking today. I you listen, Farke could come out and say he was ill after the game all he wants. Another poor showing. He was a passenger today, and it's been like that for a while. If we're being honest with Glenn Kamara, he hasn't been good. Has not been good. He hasn't been effective enough. What remember all the match reactions where Kamara was at his peak of his powers in this side. He was pressing from the front. He was winning things from the front, and we was gaining attacks in that way. That's gone. I don't know where that is gone with Glenn Kamara. I'm not sure what is going on, but he hasn't been at it. Somerville couldn't get into the game. I swear his first shot on target was in the second half. Um, it's all mad. Jorginho again. I saw a few comments talk about Jorginho being frustrating, but he's the one that got us the assist for the goal, or was involved heavily in the build up for the goal for Peru. So again, you can be frustrated with Jorginho all you want, but at least the guy is trying to make something happen when he gets the ball. He may lose it 10 times out of 13, but one of those 3 times he will create something. And that's just something you have to keep in mind when it comes to Jorginho. Um, yeah, Stephen saying it was Gray. It was Gray who was at fault for the second. I hear that, but I'm talking about when you just look at the collective effort, Stephen. They were all standing around ball watching. The guy ran through unchallenged. That can't happen. That can't happen at this level where we're trying to get to. Just can't happen. Nathan here saying, "I refuse to think of the playoffs." Well, you know what? Again, and I don't want to. I don't want to make this sound like this is the funeral for the top two, because it's not. There's still, what is it, 5 games to go. But it's just, make it easy for yourself. I know we're Leeds United. We don't like to make it easy for ourselves, but just make it easy for yourself and gain that advantage. Norwich did the hard work for us today. You know, 5 minutes added on. There was no Ipswich goal to be seen. Cool, 1-0. Come into this game knowing what you need to do. Just get a point and get out of there. And we just didn't have anything. You would have thought that would give us a boost. Didn't give us anything. Let me just refresh some here. Oh, that's bad. So bad. So here is a state of play right now, people. I know it's real. We all know it's real, Ian. And this is what I'm talking about here. Leicester City won today. Mavidivi scored late on, 88 points for them with a game in hand. It's Leicester looking like they are going to go up automatically, which is probably what they deserve overall in the season. Let's be fair. But Ipswich today, this was the one. Go on 87 points with Ipswich without goal difference, far superior. And Ipswich are the ones looking to get back in. Now, with 41 games played with Ipswich, we're having to hope that they falter and that we pick up 3 points. LUFC Midlands, Bamford is on his 5th manager. Look, I go to the point again with Patrick Bamford. You can't, at some point you can't blame him. And I know I'm not excusing him of his poor play. I'm not excusing him of missing chances. The managers keep playing him. And I've said many times, the managers that continue to play him as if he's some special number 9 will pay for it with their jobs. And the 49ers, if we fail to go up this season, I don't know what they're going to look at. I have no idea the metrics they're going to look at. I know they're very data driven. But if they're looking at it and they see that we fail to go up again, there's common denominators with everything, people. Common denominators with everything. I've already said it. Until we're free of these players, until they're out of the club, they will always get selected because for whatever reason, they have extra capital with the fans. They obviously say all the right things in training or to the managers. And we will see, won't we, against Sunderland? He's had a few shocking games in a row, and there's been other players, Peru being one, who took his goal very well today. One hand, he gave you the yin yang today, Peru. Took his goal instinctively well. Just one touch, bang. That's it. That's all you need. Instinctive striking. And then also, he misses the one where he should have equalized. But Bamford has had a few bad games in a row, and like others before him, Peru and other players that come out when they've had a few bad games, we will see against Sunderland if he's starting in the game, but he shouldn't be. But this is on the manager. It's not on Bamford. As much as I'm not surprised. I've said this how many times in the last few years. I feel like I'm stuck on a record here. I don't expect anything else from Patrick Bamford than what I've seen today. What I see today is what I expect from Bamford. So it doesn't surprise me. It surprises me when he actually plays well. So until they get this guy out of the football club, he's always going to be picked for whatever reason. You fans love him, okay? For whatever reason, you guys have an affinity towards him. No matter how many times he lets you down, no matter how many times he looks like he doesn't actually care, you guys love him for whatever reason. Until he's gone, he's going to be an anchor at this football club. And I said anchor, people. Darren here saying, I don't know what to say at the manner with which we lost is so disappointing. That's what I mean, man. That's what I mean. It was just disappointing overall to not even get a point. I would have taken a point today. Begrudgingly, I would have preferred three, but get a point at this stage of the season with 5 games to go, that would have been priceless. And now Ipswich Town have probably got a bounce after being, beaten against Norwich. But yeah, Ryan here saying exactly, and Bamford knows he's not good enough now, but if Farke picks him, he has to play. Exactly. I'm not saying to Bamford if Farke says you start, go, actually, no, 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 boss. I've not been playing very well. Maybe you should start Mateo. No, I'm not saying that he's got to say that. He's going to play, he backs himself, but he's not good enough for this level. And some of you, and as well, people in the comments, please stop asking me if when we go up, would I take him as a third striker? Listen, I say my points about Bamford very clearly, very well, very thought out, very clear. Don't ask me if I would take Bamford to the Premier League again. I wouldn't take him up as a ball boy. So please don't ask me if I would take him in the squad. It's not happening. Tintin here saying I'm angry about today's result, but there's more twists and turns. There is, and that's why I'm not throwing in the towel on the top two. It doesn't look good right now, of course, but there's 5 games to go, people, and I think Ipswich have got another tricky one coming up because I think I highlighted Norwich and another team that they've got coming up. There's going to be tough games for them. Sunderland's going to be tough at home for us, especially with the way that we're playing right now. But it's on Farke to make the right team selections. You put Peru up there. If you're not trusting Mateo Joseph from the start, okay, cool. You want more experience. You don't trust Joel Perot quite clearly, but start him in the game. See what he can do from the start, because it cannot be any worse than what we've got from Patrick Bamford over the last few games. It can't. Adsir saying it's pathetic that Bamford can't cut in the championship. Thing is, Adsir, I think he can. I think this is his level, but just not at the Leeds United level. I think he needs to go somewhere in the middle of the table, maybe down to like a Cardiff or something like that. I don't think he shouldn't be in a team where you've got dynamic players around him and then he is just messing it up 9 times out of 10. Max H saying he doesn't see Perot as a striker. Well, Max, in the press conference, he did say that Perot is a forward attacker. So whether he thinks he's an out-and-out striker is another matter altogether. But you can't keep playing. He has said before, if players aren't playing well, then someone else will take their spot. He said that near the start of the season. We will see that on Tuesday because this is 3 stinkers in a row, at least 3. Let me see. I've got a couple more super chats here. Let me just get into those. Mr. P in the house. Shout out to you, Mr. P. We've been lucky with a few games recently. The luck ran out today. 100%, Mr. P. No argument there. P here saying, can someone tell Farke we allowed to put the game to bed in the first 60 minutes? We can't keep waiting until the last 10 minutes to show urgency. Yeah, and maybe someone's right with what they said about Jesse Marsch. It's like kitchen sink stuff, isn't it? Instead of taking care of the game in the first 60, then stepping off and managing the game, we seem to be slow at the moment and then trying to throw everything at it with 10 minutes to go. That's not sustainable. That is not sustainable, man. Mark, film Bamford to Wrexham, a footballer story. Yeah, man. Get Ryan Reynolds on the case, man. But this is what I'm saying, man. Like, it's not that I don't hate anybody, but he shouldn't be at this football club. I said this after he scored 17 goals with no fans in attendance, and people couldn't see the vision. Well, I hope you see it now, 3-4 years later. If you're not seeing it now, then we got nothing to talk about. You know what I mean? Yeah, direct. This is another point as well. Still, why are we so bad at defending set pieces? It's a common issue across the seasons. No idea, direct X. Direct. And another thing as well, I was looking at Sarah today for Norwich. And there's many other players, but let's go with someone. Hold on a minute. I'm back. But also Sarah as well. And I'm taking someone in our own division, someone who puts different curl, different manipulation on the ball when it comes to set pieces. Defending, attacking set pieces, we stink. We absolutely stink. And that one at the end, I mean, Peru missed that header, but then the preceding corner at the end when Melia comes up, why bother? Seriously, why bother? We might as well just say, you know what, take a goal kick because we ain't gonna do nothing from this corner. It's just so I don't know why we have no people that can take set pieces regularly at this football club. Does no one work on it? Does no one practice? Does no one try? I know Chris Somerville tries his best, but he takes what I call, at this point of his career, very basic set pieces where the ball's not doing nothing. It's just in the air, and hopefully one of our players gets on the end of it and we get something. Other teams do, Sarah did one earlier against Ipswich where it was a short one, but it was at the edge of the box and they almost scored from it. We don't have any of that. We do not have any of that. Ad Sir saying, I think lockdown fried people's minds as some fans seem to be stuck in 1920. They do. They're absolutely stuck there. Cooper and Bamford can't be here next season. Well, they can't. They shouldn't be. And under the 49ers, I'm hoping that they will do the right thing. But we shall see. Summer's going to be great. Summer's going to be very interesting, people. It's going to be very, very interesting. Back to the set pieces here. Matt saying, we float them in instead of whipping them in Cringe to City. 100%, Matt. There's just no manipulation on the ball. It's so easy to read. They're so predictable. I mean, apart from, I'm trying to think of goals we scored from corners. I remember Liam Cooper doing one earlier in the season when he proceeded to get injured. I think Pascal's done one. I'm having a hard time thinking of when we scored directly from corners, where it just whipped in, we get the first touch goal. Having a very hard time. And that shouldn't be the case. That shouldn't be the case at this level of football. Yeah, we've had set pieces weakness for years. I make the joke all the time, innit? We still haven't replaced Ian Hart when it comes to free kicks, and the story continues. Sheegraf Bamford's got 2 more years. He does, but there are ways to get out of these deals. I actually think that he's played himself into interest this summer. I think the 2024, I'm talking 2024 specifically. I think he's actually been okay. Whereas before you would think he's probably got no value or it's going to probably cost us to get him out. Maybe there's a chance that we could get a little fee for him in the summer. But either way, just please stop. So that whoever is left of this fan base that think that he's the only striker that can do what he does, they can finally see the light now and look elsewhere because it's gone on far too long. Far too long. And I know I mentioned it a few times on here, but I always remember when I got absolutely hammered by people when I said that we should sell him when Arsenal Spurs were interested. When he scored 17 goals, I said we should sell and reinvest. People are like, you can't sell him after he scored 17 Premier League goals. Yeah, you can't sell him. Oh, great days, great days. Let's have a look. Matt here is saying, to be fair, our run since January has been crazy. If you offer this position, we'd have snapped your hands off. We're still in it, peeps, but please start Mateo now. Yeah, of course. Look, I'm not taking anything away. The run that we've had up until the international break was sensational. It was. And as I say with everything, winning cures everything. So it didn't matter that Pascal was out. It didn't matter that certain players weren't probably not on form. Winning solves everything. It solves all the problems. But as we've seen in the last few games, we're stumbling a little. And now we finally, taking our first loss of 2024, and it's come at a real bad time. It's couldn't have come at a worse time when you're looking at the table right now. Yeah, direct, KG always the football man. You called it. Yeah, that's what people can't take though. Because I support the football club. That's what I support. I don't support players. I support the football club. But because I know what other teams do and what it takes in order to get other places, people don't want to hear that, man. It's just very Leeds lens. But that's why I do my channel. So you can see it from other lens of what you need and what you don't need. But it's not appreciated by everyone. But shout out to all you guys that it is appreciated by. Mr. P, with a super chat. Thank you, Mr. P. The stat system Brighton and Brentford use would have meant that Bamford would have gone 5 years ago. Perhaps we need this kick up the arse. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, there's all kinds of data systems. I think the 49ers have got their own. Don't quote me on that. I don't actually know that for a fact, but I know that they use a lot of data metrics and systems. But we shall see. His contract for me, I know people talk about his wages, but there are different ways of getting out of that. You can, when he signs on for his next club, maybe he takes a bigger signing on fee. Maybe Leeds don't take such a big transfer fee in order for him to leave. There are different ways you can get out of bad deals. Plenty of clubs do it. But the problem is, if they're looking at this guy as the experienced number 9, so much for that experience today as well, people. If they're looking at him for that next season, I give up. I absolutely give up. Oh man. See, Farke talked about that experience today, and yeah. Oh man. Let's have a look. Direct here. Oh, man, actually, while there's people in the chat now, and obviously when this is over, this is a decent question. Do we keep Farke in the Prem if we don't get? Oh, no. That's not the question. I thought it was direct. That's not the question. What I thought the question was if we don't go up this season, which I do not want to think about, people, because I said it a few weeks ago. I'm not thinking of championship next season. I think we'll be in the Premier League. So being in the championship next season will be an absolute reality blow for me. But if we don't go up, do you guys think Farke is the right man to take us up next season? Would you trust him again? Would the tactic things be a bit of PTSD for you in terms of not making the subs at the right times and everything else? Or does that kind of run at the start of 2024 make you think we could do this again, but longer term? I don't know. That's a question I got for you guys there. Yeah, Mike is saying yes. Okay, Direct is saying no. Okay. Ian say no as well. Desiree say no, absolutely not. Oh Lord. Um yeah, but Bielsa was different. No, you just felt with Bielsa, with those players, especially those kind of players, those quality of players, that he could get the best out of them. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but look, um, you saying do a poll. I can't get the polls up on here right now. I would do otherwise. Black Country Fisherman saying this season is anomaly. So very much yes. I keep seeing that. I keep hearing that as well about this season being so weird. And if we had this amount of points now, we'd be top. The fact is, we don't. But that is the question. Should be then, why don't we? It shouldn't be, oh, if this was any other season, we'd be first or second, so it's okay. It's like, okay, so what haven't we done as well currently as we speak right now as Leicester and Ipswich? What has been that? What have been those little details that we've missed? Why we're not in the current 1 or 2 spots? That's the way you should look at it. You know what I mean? Much like when Liverpool finished with 90 plus points, very nice and cute, but then Man City get a point more. What is it that Liverpool missed out on during the season? You know what I mean? So I just look at things in different ways. I look for things more for the solution of things instead of why the problem, what it is. Nick Norton saying no, his judgment over Bamford is bizarre, and bizarre words about Joseph Record make me question Farke's wisdom when put up against the best of the best in the Prem. Okay, yeah, I mean, I adjusted it just for the championship, but I know what you're saying. I said that in the match preview, Nick. It was a crazy comment. It was completely out of context, wasn't it? Talking about Joseph has 1 championship goal in 15 appearances. The caveat being that he comes on for like 10 minutes most of the time, barring the last few games where he's got half an hour. It was disingenuous to me. Disingenuous. Dave here saying first 5 of the game season killed us. Again, with that's all well and good. But when you look at the start of our 2024, Dave and everyone else, no, I don't think anyone else bar Southampton had that kind of run. And even Southampton, with that big run that they had, look where they are now. They're fourth. Leicester City, they had a blip where they weren't winning games. They're first. Ipswich Town had was it 8 games that they didn't win? They're second. So everybody has had this blip. Doesn't matter whether it's a start, middle, or currently right now. Everyone's had the blip. So again, that's not an excuse for me. Um, Jack, if we do this tactic in the Prem, we're gonna get killed again. we won't do that in the Prem. No chance. Absolutely not. Leeds on top saying, let's pray Ipswich keep losing the well. We've got to now, people. Unfortunately, that's where we are. It was out of our hands before this whole match day kicked off. But now with the results the way it is, it's really out of our hands now, being in third place with Leicester winning. So, and with them with a game in hand. So not only have Leicester got the points on the board, sorry, they've also got the game in hand. Honestly, crazy stuff. And shout out to you, Dave. I appreciate that. Fair point. Let me just see. Is there anything else? Let me just check some here. While I'm just checking, see if there's any comments. Please hit the like if you haven't already. Nah, nothing yet. Nothing yet. Yeah, just the opposition manager praising the depth of our squad. Yeah, it's all well and good. Andrew, please take off the table. It's upsetting. Well, I'm going to move on to that. Yeah, just to move on to the results from today. Probably upset you more, Andrew. I'm sorry, but yeah, I always do this at the end. Norwich there, obviously beating Ipswich, thinking, oh, let's go. But Leicester, look what they're doing, man. 87 minutes, clutch. And that's the difference. That's the difference, people. But look, it's a short turnaround in games. We're back again Tuesday. We are back again Tuesday against Sunderland at home. Goes without saying, we need to win these games. Have to. So, I'll be back with a preview before then. But yeah, just try and enjoy the rest of your weekend, people. Look, I don't know whether it's the yin and yang for me. I mean, I'm not that important, but the Penguins have started to turn it around. Is their success becoming Leeds' failure? I don't know, man. I just feel like I can't be happy with both. One of those. Yeah, they did. Look, they're good teams. They're good teams. But look, we will be back. We've lost the game today, first loss of of 2024. Drop your thoughts below. Please like the video if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video, people. Peace out and try and enjoy the rest of your weekend.